Regulatory priorities. New South Wales Fair Trading have identified their regulatory priorities. And I mean, whenever you talk to Fair Trading or listen to what they've got to say at any of their public forums or read their newsletters that come out, and I hope that every single one of you subscribes to Property Matters, because this is where we all get loads of information from. So usually there's more information available on the Fair Trading website that gives you more information about what the priorities are around those areas. Now, Fair Trading, so they're not out there to to catch you off guard. They're being very clear about what their regulatory priorities are for the coming year. Property is one of their major focuses. They've got 3 other areas, but property is a major focus for them. They're focusing on the fact that consumers need to be empowered and protected, that businesses need to be supported so they can trade fairly, and that their regulation that they're implementing is efficient and fair. So that all sounds really good. And it sounds like a positive move for any type of consumer protection within our industry. So what it states on their website is that they chose these priorities based on the factors of consumer health and safety, great, major lifetime decisions that people are making. So people are buying property, renting property, making decisions about where they're going to live and what they're going to pay for that. So again, really good idea. Potential for large financial loss. So if somebody's making the wrong decisions based on incorrect information they're being provided, that's a bad thing. So again, a good area for them to base their principles on here and their priorities. Looking at power imbalances between supplier and consumer. So, people encouraging others to move in and purchase property where they may not be able to. So, let's think about the homeowner, the shared equity homeowner scheme that might come into play with that, or even some of the land tax versus stamp duty first home buyers choice scheme that is around. There are always new issues that are arising coming from complaints to Fair Trading, and obviously the increases in frequency of some of those complaints. Now, Fair Trading is looking to measure their success in what they're doing here. They're looking for a reduction in consumer harm, so that would be measured very clearly by a reduction in consumer complaints, an increase in consumer confidence. So again, a real measure there is a reduction in consumer complaints, and a reduction in non-compliance by business. So clearly they are going to be looking at agencies to be compliant, to see that their measures around the compliance and their regulatory priorities are being implemented. So in terms of the property industry, they've been quite open in what they're going to be looking for. Improved integrity in service provision, improved trust accounting, and reduced misleading representations by real estate agents, particularly on price. Now, we've talked about this for years on end. Yes, we talk about trust account audits. Yes, we talk about the process of making sure that authority is being given by the correct person, the nominated licensee in charge for the trust accounts. We've talked about underquoting issues. We've talked about truth in advertising. They're all issues that come into that misleading and deceptive basket, I guess, of practices that might be seen would be seen to be a regulatory priority in terms of how a real estate agent provides their services. From a strata perspective, it's about strata maintenance and increase in compliance of strata buildings with requirements to maintain safety and amenity of the common property. Fair Trading have introduced the whole legislation around the strata hub to collect information about strata schemes and act on the information that's provided as part of that mandatory reporting about strata schemes from every strata scheme in New South Wales, and also working with strata committees. Increasing the compliance of strata services when contracting with strata organisations, particularly in relation to new buildings, having embedded networks within buildings, and a general understanding of what some of those issues mean to consumers. Because many consumers still don't know what what embedded networks are about, or what are the processes with building defects for a new building. So this is all, again, part of that's education. Part of that is, getting consumers on board to understand it as well. And their third priority area is conditions of rental premises. So they want to look at increasing responsiveness of landlords to reasonable tenant requests for repairs and maintenance and reasonable standards of habitability. Now, this brings us back to the landlord information statement. Are you as an agent making sure that your landlord is signing off and returning their acknowledgement of the landlord information statement? Now, whilst there is, it's a bit unclear about, yes, it has to be done the first time that a lease is signed since that was brought in, but does it need to be signed every time? Well, look, many agents are making sure that it is sent to the landlord and acknowledged before every new tenant, every new lease is signed, reminding the landlord that there is an issue about habitability, providing a property that is habitable. The duty of care of the agents is involved in this as well, in terms of agents acting on requests in a timely manner to address issues, making sure that they do address the issues and mitigate any damage or risks that may be occurring in a property. I was talking to a group this morning and we were talking a lot about mould and how you can actually put some practices in place as an agency in an attempt to mitigate the risk there for both the tenant and for the landlord on these issues. And the need for agents to explain to landlords the consequences of not acting on a request from a tenant. If there's a health and safety issue, we go back to some of the major duty of care cases that are around this. There's plenty about mould at the moment. If we want to go into all of the cases and you look at the liabilities there in terms of agent actions and landlord actions, and reminding landlords if they don't do anything, they might be plenty of landlords do the right thing, say yes, get it fixed. There's also plenty of landlords who say, no, don't spend a cent. So it's that role you have as an agent to actually remind the landlord of their responsibilities to provide a premises that are habitable, and also their liabilities in terms of what would happen if they don't respond to this repair and maintenance issue, from most importantly from those health and safety angles. So, guys, think about the regulatory priorities. Make sure that, and this is about service provision, this is about customer service, this is about good business. So it's not just about, Fair Trading are coming out to check on us. Yeah, that's their job. They're our regulator in terms of how agents behave and the service you're providing. But change your thinking on this. Think about it more as this is customer service. This is about building your business. You're providing a good customer service. You're doing all of these things that Fair Trading want you to do. You're going to get a better reputation, more clients, and a better business. So look at it from that angle, and it's a positive thing to do. So, put a spin on your compliance and think, yeah, we can do this. So always the better angle to take there, because it makes you feel good about what you're doing.